In fact, we've seen the emergence in Kenya specifically of the energy open access regulations. I think that piece of legislation is actually out for public participation.
And you know, interestingly, the legislation is quite robust, even though it needs improvement. I have looked at the legislation and it appears to be ahead of its time. But there are these, let's say, the present setup where maybe implementation of some part of this legislation could severely disrupt, the current setup. But one thing is for sure, as long as the person who is consuming this energy has this alternative, as you have mentioned, Carol, they will go for those alternatives. And to me, I guess at the end of the day, I can see private sector taking an even bigger role in this sector. I can see the government perhaps pulling back significantly to allow market forces to be at play. And you know, comparing with other countries that are a bit advanced, this is what happens. You have areas within a country where you have a private utility and they have arrangement with transmission. And the government just waits to collect their check, in terms of taxes and what have you, but they don't bear the risk. So that master plan, as we call it, least cost power development plan, even though it may be up to a certain year, it's not going to be that way. And I can see in the not too distant future, we will simply have to rethink, especially because if you talk about cost, then you must talk about efficiencies. And I'm glad Carol here mentioned, you cannot be losing a quarter of your power and then bill 75%, you distribute those costs to 75% of the number of units that you produced. And then along the line, you have other challenges, be it delayed payments or other things. It is simply not going to work in the long run. So I am seeing along the line, there will be disruption, there will be pain to some quarters, and then there will be gain in the long run to help this country sustain itself.